On this week's show, we're bringing you stories from Liberty football and the men that are pouring into the lives of these Flames athletes.
From on-field coaches to those responsible for their spiritual growth, we introduce you to the culture setters within the program, and it all starts now on this Flame Central.
Welcome into Flame Central, your home for all things Liberty Athletics. As always, alongside Emily Austin, I'm Matt Warner.
This week's show is a little different. We're focusing on stories from Liberty football and men that are making a difference in the lives of their athletes.
Yeah, and we start on the coaching staff. When it comes to being able to relate to these athletes, few can do it better than co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Willy Korn. Why? Well, it's because of the successes and challenges he faced in his own career.
It comes forward, I go left, right. That right foot forward comes first step, and then I flip my hips ready to make that throw right there.
Meet Willy Korn. He's the co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Liberty University.
Let's go execute, buddy.
He's also that guy on the headset who calls the plays for this explosive Flames offense.
Salter in the shotgun, gets the snap, play action. In the pocket, throws towards the end zone, wide open, Bentley Henshaw, the tight end, strike to stone, touchdown Liberty.
I can remember being young and always kind of thinking coaching would be a pretty fun gig. My dad was a former coach. My dad coached us in Little League, and so I always kind of thought like that'd be a really fun gig to get into.
You know, baseball is what we did together. I think the coaching certainly gave us an excuse to spend just us together, just me and Willie. I think we always talked about things that would make you a good coach, maybe just indirectly.
But before he would follow in his father's footsteps in coaching, he would remain the one coached. In high school, Willie would eventually focus on just football, becoming one of the best quarterbacks in South Carolina history.
Burns are looking for their fifth straight state title behind the arm of Willy Korn, one of the nation's top quarterbacks.
Well, he had so much success, and Burns had so much success. It was really memorable and a lot of fun.
Willy Korn, the number 4 rated quarterback in the country, top 30 recruit overall. He's committed to Clemson. You see his numbers, 2,000.
At Clemson, Willie was assumed to be the next guy under center until the adversity would hit.
And I battled injuries my whole time when I was at Clemson. Fractured my collarbone my freshman year, tore my labrum my second year. And, you know, I was not raised to be this way, but my identity just became me as the football player, as a quarterback. And when things were going good, it was great. And when things weren't going good during all those injuries, it was really frustrating. And I lost a lot of my joy.
It must have seemed so hard for him. And I remember one day in particular, and it's like the one time where I saw him, it was just, so he lays down on the couch and just puts his hands like this over his eyes and says, "I just wish this was all over." It just broke my heart. It was just difficult for a dad to watch how tough it was for him. But he didn't quit. He didn't quit at all.
Willie would decide to leave Clemson while his dad would send out letters trying to find a new home for his son to play college football, which is where Jamie Chadwell comes into the picture.
When I was in the head coach in North Greenville, 2010, we're trying to figure some things out, and his dad sent me an email.
"Hi, Coach. I left a message on your phone, but was not sure if you would call me back. I'm contacting you because of my son, Willie. I know you have a quarterback background and are trying to build a program. I would prefer to have him home with us playing quarterback at an area school. I would like to talk more. Please call at your earliest convenience. Thanks for your time, Coach, and I wish you good luck. Larry Korn."
Coach Chadwell would reply later that day and would meet with Willie shortly after.
Willie gets back in the car and says, "Yeah, I think this is the place."
That 2 years there we were together as far as coaching him was, and I was coaching quarterbacks at that time. It was for a new head coach. It was a great experience, and that's when this relationship really started beginning.
That's where my joy for the game was restored. A big piece of it was getting the opportunity to get on the field and actually play and compete. So that was a big piece of it, but I wouldn't say that was the only piece, because on a much bigger scale, I gave my life to Jesus my senior year when I was at North Greenville. My mindset shifted from a temporary mindset to an eternal mindset.
And it would reflect on the field. Willie would go on to earn All-America honors after leading North Greenville to the NCAA Division II quarterfinals in 2011. And when his playing days were over, a childhood dream would be reborn.
Back foot lead, reset, step up. Yeah. Step it up. There you go, good. When you get removed from the game, when you play your last snap, the closest thing that you can get to that adrenaline and the camaraderie is coaching, being a part of it. Let's go, baby, let's go. Right down the field, right down the field. So it wasn't too long after I was done playing that I knew, okay, this is the route I wanted to go. And thankfully, Coach Chowell gave me the opportunity to get into it.
13 years and 4 schools later, the two are still coaching together. But more importantly, guiding young men on this journey of life.
The opportunity for them to lead and push through adversity, I pray for. I think I look at it from a different lens, because I know what it's like to sit in that chair and get beat out and not win the starting job. Disappointed because you're not the same player you thought you were. Disappointed because injuries.
He played at a high level, he was recruited at a high level, and things didn't work out. So I think he understands the pressures of the expectations. And then maybe they didn't work out the way people thought they worked out, but they worked out right for him.
You know, I'm just so happy, because he's exactly the kind of human being I would have wanted him to be. In his profession, with his family. I would want to play for him. If I could be a kid again, I want him to be my dad. And that's about the highest praise I can give him.
Well, Emily, great job producing that story. And how impressive is Willy Korn? All the adversity he faced and was able to find a way to get through it all.
Yeah, it's never fun to go through that adversity in the moment, but we're seeing how much it's paying off with these quarterbacks here today, and how much he's pouring into them and how much success they've had from that.
Absolutely. Those guys are going to go through a lot of the same stuff he did, and he's a great example for them moving forward. All right, we take a quick timeout, but when we come back, the powerful story of strength and conditioning coach Jacob Sonier and how he's speaking life today.
Plus, see how Liberty legend Dr. Ed Gomes is fulfilling God's calling for him on the mountain. More Flame Central next. Welcome back to the show. This week, we're focusing on stories from the Liberty football coaching staff. And in the case of strength and conditioning assistant coach Jacob Saulnier, while his job may be to motivate his players in the weight room, it's his powerful story that serves as an inspiration to so many around him.
So they sit me in the office, and I just remember the doctor had this sheet of paper, and he handed it to me, and I'm just like looking at it. There's a bunch of giant scientific doctor terms on there. I had no idea. And I just felt like my breath got sucked out of me.
Jacob was full of energy. His first word was ball.
It sure was.
Wasn't mom, wasn't dad, it was ball.
It was.
I grew up in Canton, Ohio, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. My dad was a football coach in Ohio, and I grew up in the locker room with my dad. I used to train with the football players in the summer. You name it, I did it.
I mean, we would sleep in the office together during two-a-days in camp, and he loved that. So the memories are just amazing.
Jacob Saulnier adored football, but his true passion would be found on the baseball diamond.
he would hit 1,000 balls.
It was so crazy.
And the neighborhood knew Jacob was out hitting balls off the tee.
He hit a ting.
And then he practiced so hard with baseball.
But once I got to high school, I realized that baseball was my best shot at getting my college paid for.
Jacob would start his collegiate career at the JUCO level before transferring to Division II Emmanuel University in Franklin Springs, Georgia. All was well on and off the diamond until his junior year.
I had been dealing with this spot that was on my tongue and really thought nothing of it. It wasn't really bothering me. It was just kind of there. I'm not really thinking worst case scenario. I'm just thinking, give me some medicine, kind of make it go away type of thing. You know, I'm very healthy. I never smoke, no alcohol, don't drink, don't chew, no dipping. So just no idea what really caused this to develop.
7 months after discovering the spot, Jacob would still be in pain.
He ate something and he said, "Oh, my mouth." And I said, "Jacob, please don't tell me that your mouth is still hurting from this summer."
Jacob would see multiple doctors. And just a couple weeks into his senior baseball season, he would receive the devastating news.
He basically tells me that I have cancer, and I remember just like speaking to my parents on the phone, and my dad saying that we're gonna beat this, and we're not gonna let it get the best of you, and you can fight this, and we're gonna beat it. I just remember going out in the parking lot and just sitting in my truck and just bawling my eyes out because I was playing the best baseball I ever had. Up until that point, I was leading Division II in batting average, and at that time, just in an instant, my season was over, my career was over.
Third base, side of home.
It was taken away from me before I even knew it. Just the game that I had loved my whole life.
You're a stud. Well, you know, the baseball player?
In a frenzy, Jacob's family would hurriedly drive 8 hours to Georgia to obtain more information on the diagnosis.
February 12th, 2019. Jacob asked if I was nervous, and I said yes. He said, "Me too." A few minutes later, the doc called us in. He introduced himself to me as Dr. Angel and began to cry. He said, "I never saw anything like this," and said that there is nothing on the CT scan. And I said, "Thank you, Jesus," and hugged Jacob. I witnessed a miracle today.
Stunned with the turn of events, the Saulnier family would still seek a second opinion, and their excitement would prove to be short-lived.
The doctor proceeded to draw on the whiteboard a tongue and showed us that he would have to take half of his tongue out. And I was so sick to my stomach.
Dr. Deasy's words, sense of urgency was, I don't know how it got there, but I know one thing has to come out ASAP. From that meeting with Dr. Deasy, within 2 weeks, Jacob was on the operating table. I'm sorry.
It was about a 12-hour surgery. They cut me from ear to ear, and they pulled my neck up. And they removed, I think, over 70 lymph nodes. And they removed half of my tongue. They took a spot on my arm, and they made half of a tongue out of my arm. They took an artery and vein from my arm and put that in my neck. And then they removed a giant rectangle off of my thigh and put that on my arm.
I wasn't sure I was ever going to hear his voice again.
Yes.
Even a voice.
Yes. You know, she recorded him the last time, his voice, we heard it for 20-something years.
When I saw him afterwards, I had no idea.
No, we weren't ready for that.
We were not
We were not
ready
ready for that, no.
At all.
No. I don't know how you can be as a parent.
Jacob would spend the next 8 days in ICU. He couldn't speak, eat, swallow, or even drink water, only communicating through messages written on a whiteboard. But he would have one thing, an unrelenting faith in God.
All I would do was just pray. I would just pray to Jesus every day because it was all I could do. Just pray that he would give me strength.
I was like, Lord, can I just hear my son's voice? Like I used to hear it. And God told me in a still voice, listen to his heart. And I'll tell you, since then, I can hear my son speak. It's a miracle. It really is. Dr. Zizi told us he would have been dead within 6 months to 9 months if he didn't catch it. I'm so glad he did. So that's the miracle that I accept and that we live with. And I'm grateful for that. I really am.
After 5 rounds of chemo and 7 weeks of radiation, Jacob Saulnier would ring the bell.
He said, Dad, if me going through this is gonna help one person, it's worth it. I'm like, wow. Like that's very impressive for a young man to have that perspective.
And Jacob's impact on others has been undeniable.
How you doing?
All right, you?
I'm good. Always better when I see you.
Today, Jacob remains cancer-free. And he's back where it all started, on the sidelines, working as Liberty Football's assistant strength and conditioning coach.
The full circle moment is being able to share my testimony with my players and show them what I've gone through, and that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, my dad always says is, God has your back, but he also has your future.
I am so thankful of how God orchestrated not my plan, and I had to surrender that to his plan and his will, and that Jacob's thriving. He's not just doing his job, he loves his job.
I see Jacob on the field, and I'm so proud. You know, like, Lord, you did it. You did it. There he is. Couldn't be any happier. So these tears right now are tears of joy. That's where he's at. I'm just so grateful, so thankful.
What was meant to harm me and what was meant for evil can be turned to praise Jesus and to tell others about him. You know, life is spoken through the tongue, and I believe that even though I have half of one, I can still speak life.
Such an inspirational story, and I'm so happy to report that Jacob has been back for more testing and remains cancer-free. He's also now married to Brittany, so we are beyond blessed to have both of them here at Liberty, impacting athletes in more ways than one. All right, still more to come on this edition of Flames Central. We hear from a Liberty legend and a man who helps Flames football keep its focus on Christ. That's when Flames Central returns.
Welcome back to Flames Central. In this show, we've shared a story from an on-field Liberty coach and a football strength and conditioning coach. But here at LU, the spiritual growth of the athletes is just as important. And in the Liberty football program, no one does a better job of leading in that regard than Dr. Ed Gomes.
Let's challenge each other. Let's inspire each other. Let's do it together. Okay. Father, right now, here we come again. And God, I pray tonight that you will give our guys the ability to take the game plan and execute it in a supernatural way. And God, we're going to thank you ahead of time in Jesus' name, our Father.
Dr. Ed Gomes is the chaplain for Liberty football, a role he's claimed for almost 25 years. However, his time at Liberty didn't start there, and it wasn't football that first brought him to the mountain.
I was here from 74 to 76.
And you still have some records with the team, right?
Oh yeah, I got 2 records. One is most turnovers and most assists. I was undisciplined. I like that backboard. You know, when I showed up on campus, I anticipated a basketball court, dormitories. Well, I showed up, and when Coach Manley took me on a tour of the campus, all I saw was trees. We had nothing. But we knew that God was with us.
In those days, we were just getting started. We didn't have the Vine Center. We didn't have any of these things. We played wherever we could find a basketball floor, and we had Ed Gomes. I said that having Ed Gomes and the team we had back in those days, like Michael Jordan having a basketball team, was Dr. Townsend be on it. Somebody has got to be able to catch it and pass it in.
Dr. Gomes served as team captain for his final 2 seasons before getting married and finishing his seminary degree at Liberty. The newlyweds felt the Lord leading them back to their hometown in Massachusetts, where Dr. Gomes worked as an associate pastor and a chaplain for the police department.
Again, I had no idea that God was setting me up for something down the road, but it was a blessing, to build relationships with police officers and yet be involved in a local church ministry. It was a win-win situation.
Being surrounded by family and in the midst of a growing ministry, life was good for the Gomes family. But God would start moving in Dr. Gomes's heart when he was asked to come back to Liberty.
In 1995, I came to speak in Convo. And I wasn't looking. I was content. All my family was home. But I came to preach in Convocation in 1995, and on the way back, I said, God, are you telling us you want us to come back to Lynchburg? And man, I got back home. I asked my wife, what do you think about going back to Lynchburg? And God just gave confirmation through his word. He gave confirmation through circumstances. He gave confirmation through people. And so when we came for our official visit, my wife and I, it was obvious that God was in it.
So, after a 10-year hiatus, God brought the Gomes family back to Lynchburg.
When I came back in 95, my heart was always in the campus pastor's office, but there wasn't an opening. And so I began to serve as the dean of commuter students, responsible for off-campus students. Well, I was dealing with a football player. His name was Sammy Choice. And the football coach at that time, he said, this is what we need for our football team. And after that, man, it was a no-brainer that this is what God wanted me to start doing.
And since 2001, that is what Dr. Gomes has been faithfully doing. Through different coaches and conferences, it's always been the same calling, to train champions for Christ. Dr. Gomes has been a part of the mountain for close to 50 years, and in that time, he's seen God move and the mission of Liberty stay the same.
When I look back and think of where we were, playing our basketball games at Jefferson Forest High School. In fact, when we beat UCLA, I text Coach McKay and I said, Coach, we've come a long ways from Jefferson Forest High School. And as I look back and sitting in that classroom, sitting in chapel, and hear Dr. Falwell talk about a law school, talk about an engineering school, talking about playing against BYU. And we had no football field. We had no baseball field. We had no basketball courts. We had nothing but trees. But Dr. Falwell had a vision. When I look back and see the faith that Dr. Falwell had, and to see the fruit of his faith today, it's an absolute miracle.
Folks, I want to say this first of all. I want to say this to the alumnus. Hey, our methods may have changed, but I want to assure you as alumni that our mission and our message has not changed one iota. We may have different methods, but I can assure you on the basis of someone who's here that the message and the mission is just as clear as it was when Dr. Falwell started the university.
Thanks to Josh Quigg for producing that piece. Dr. Gomes, absolute legend.
And he still has some game. I see a game of course in our future.
Yeah, he looked pretty good out there. Hey, we are about out of time, but as always, for any stories that you might have missed or want to watch again, go to libertyflamecentral.com.
Don't forget to check out the Flame Central podcast. It's a good time, and you won't regret it. For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you right back here next week.